pointing lucky fountains. It isn't working anymore. Even though you're climbing high mountains, you find your feet are stuck to the floor. People tell you that you're crazy, tell you where you go and run. Just carry on.
We are called the Eclectic Shed Experience.
Well, we met, I was asked to do a festival about 2 years ago. And
no, that's not when we first met. I first met Ron when I went for guitar lessons when I was 46 years old. So I wasn't young, so it wasn't that long ago, 5 years or so. And I was just walking past his shop one day, I saw the advert and I thought, yeah, I really want to do that. I really want to do music. So I phoned him up, and a little while later he rang back. And it was really weird actually, because I picked up the voicemail. I'd been to a little hairdresser's just down the road and I picked up the voicemail as I was passing his shop, walking back to my car, and it said, next time you pass him, pop in. So I was passing at that time, so I popped in, he was sat there, I booked lessons with Ron, and that was it then.
True.
And that's how we met.
Oh yeah, no matter what I say, anybody say. Carry on. You gotta do what's right, never lose sight, never lose sleep in the middle of the night. Carry on. People stare, just don't care, pretend that they're not there. All you gotta do is carry on. People tell you that you're crazy, tell you where you're going wrong. Just carry on. Just carry on. Oh yeah, no matter what else anybody say. Oh dear. Haven't we had a song called Just Carry On?
Don't know.
Oh, I know. Just do it quickly. Well, what happened was Liz came in, and the way I teach, I always kind of ask people what they want from it, what their expectation is, rather than doing a grades thing, so it's tailored. And Liz came in and she knew what she wanted. She said, I want to be a songwriter and I want to perform, which was quite rare. And so from the start we tailored the lessons to get, because the other thing that comes with that is confidence. You know, you have to be confident to perform because you have to relax. So developing that confidence is part of the process. And so what happened was, it was a natural progression from Liz learning to write songs and play, and she wanted to finger pick especially, so she knew what kind of style acoustic music she wanted. And so I had this kind of vehicle that I used originally called the ESE, which was the Empty Shed Experience, which was a play on the shop. And we actually started with, in 2008, I hired the local cinema in Cross Hands, and we got a load of people from age 8 to 80 to come and appear live on stage to give them that experience. And we kind of surrounded them with loads of local wonderful talent, and believe it or not, Amy Wadge, who's gone on now to be probably the most famous singer-songwriter in Wales. I didn't know you then, that was after, wasn't it?
No, that was 5 years before I walked in for my lessons.
2008,
yeah.
Then, so Liz became part of that and just came along and played with a couple of Empty Shed gigs, and that was it really, wasn't it?
This is a song just to say, don't let the world get you down. Sometimes the world will disappoint you. The people that you need
And then we enjoyed it so much that we said, hey, you've got a load of songs, I've got a load of songs. And so from there we kind of thought we liked the ESE name. So, but we're very different in styles, and every song we write is different in style. Very eclectic, hence the ESE became the Eclectic Shed. Broken is probably the most personal song I do. I wrote that song very quickly. Interestingly, most songs I tend to write the words first and then the music. Broken was the other way around. I wrote the Broken music, I had it as a guitar piece, and I literally came up with the words very quickly. I never realised when I came up with them how powerful they were. It was one of those cases where I thought, this is a bit throwaway. And that taught me something valuable as a songwriter, actually. If I give one piece of advice to the young songwriters that I teach and encourage, I say, go home and try and write the silliest, worst song you can ever write. And it's very interesting, if they go home and write the worst song they've ever written, and it turns out okay, well then you can't be that bad a songwriter. The reality is that I'm also a poet. One of the things about Wales is that lovely tradition of kind of art forms and poetry. In 2006 I started writing poetry, and I came across an American poet called William Carlos Williams, who was one of these poets that reduced verse to minimal amount of words. So his poems tend to be very short, and so I took that into my poetry and produced several poems that were short, and then that came into the songwriting as well. So Broken's a classic example of an American influenced poetry into my kind of British songwriting.
I remember Hurricane Girl. I wrote it in January 2015. I'm one for dates and numbers. I remember dates and numbers. I don't remember names and faces, but I remember that one. And it was inspired actually by a couple of people I knew that had met on social media and got together, and it was a really lovely story. So they sort of had this long distance love, and then they got together. So that was at the background of it. But the actual Hurricane Girl bit was what people were calling me, because I do tend to get a bit sort of, I get emotional, and it sort of, woof, it goes up quite quickly. I can see on the corner of my eye Ron's there nodding, because he's known me long enough to have experienced this, I think. So that was the Hurricane Girl part of it, and it's the sort of gentle, slow build up, and then the sort of much more, it's light and shade, isn't it? But I have to say, I wrote the song, but I brought it to Ron, and the little bit in the middle, the sort of little different bit in the second chorus was Ron's contribution to that song, and I think it makes the song, I think it makes it all so much better.
Yeah. The interesting thing is being both songwriters and writing individual songs was when we actually kind of started performing them, we both brought elements to each other's songs. And Hurricane Girl is actually a perfect example. Yeah. Liz had the song, and it was a very kind of light song, but she wanted to be more darker. So I kind of came with the dark shade and the voicing in the middle. Oomph. The oomph.
Once there was a friendship, but that was before. And one day you and I, we found a door to a new world.
Sometimes I do, like I think like most people, I've probably got about 1,000 half-finished songs, or songs with one verse or one chorus. The real pain is the ones you forget, because you don't record them, you tend to not record them. The songs that you forget are actually the better songs and probably the ones that I've remembered.
Well, I have written some songs that are based on dreams, because I dream quite a lot, so some of my songs are actually about my dreams, a couple of them. But I don't go anywhere at all specific, they just sometimes pop into my head no matter where I am. And one song I've got called Wish You Well, which is actually quite a nice emotional song, isn't it? In the toilet at Asda. It just came to me. I just sat there and it all just came to me almost in its entirety. Really strange. There's another song called The Passing of the Years, which people know as TikTok song. That was 10 minutes, done and dusted, words, music, everything. Other songs, I'm opposite to Ron, I tend to get the music first and then find the words, and sometimes it's hard work to find the words to fit and to sound right, and I've got lots of scribbles, so it varies a lot.
it's quite exciting
It
times,
is,
isn't it? It's
yeah,
quite
it
exciting.
is.
We've been very fortunate this year that although we're at the moment we're doing less because of other commitments, we've managed to be in the right place at the right time or be heard by the right people, and we've got two which we regard as very kind of honouring festivals that we've been asked to play. We're playing in May at the Tredegar House 30th anniversary folk festival, which is an absolutely massive folk festival, especially more so on the dancing. People come from all over the world.
So we're going international in September.
Which again, for me,
Yeah.
because I'm keen on the Celtic angle, it's fantastic to go to Germany and share. And because it's a German folk festival where predominantly it's a Celtic-based festival.
It is very much that the couple of guys that run it are called the Hoodie Crows, and they're a Celtic duo. And even though they're German, you would think they were Irish, really.
They talk. If this sounds crazy, they talk English with an Irish accent.
Yeah, even though they're German, but they're fantastic. And we were down at there was an evening down in Lucca, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they were the sort of featured act, but there was an open mic element, and sometimes we go and we practice new songs at such things.
We road test new songs.
Road test new songs. So we went down and we did a couple of songs, and they heard us and they said, "Oh, we really like you guys. Come and play in our festival in Germany." And we were like, "Okay." So
Serendipity.
Yeah.
For a coin in the found.